Welcome to Lagos Talks 91.3, 32 minutes now past the hour of 4. My name is Michelle Ago. This is The Office, proudly brought to you in partnership with Lagos Talks 91.3, the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management. We'll be doing this until 5 p.m. today. But before we get into today's conversation, CIPM has a message for us, and we'll go on a quick break. And when we return, we will start the show. Don't go anywhere. It's Lagos Talks 91.3.
To the Garden City for the International Conference and Exhibitions of the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. This 54th edition, themed Leading People, Growing Nations, is scheduled to hold from October 17th to the 21st, 2022 at the Obi-Wali International Conference Center, Port Harcourt, River State. Join over 3,000 other professionals to gain knowledge and new models required for people development and nation building. For registration, sponsorship, and further inquiries, visit www.CIPM.org/conference. CIPM. We deliver value to people. Join the conversation on the most relevant issues affecting the workplace.
Why can it?
The Office. Available job listings and advice on how to apply from featured experts in the industry every Thursday from 4:30 p.m. to 5 p.m. 91.3.
Welcome back to The Office. It's Lagos Talks 91.3. All right, today we have a special guest joining us on today's episode of The Office. And she is an experienced managing director and strategic human resources expert with a demonstrated history of working in food and beverage industry. She is skilled in negotiation, business planning, operations management, and training. She possesses strong business development professional with an advanced certificate focused in human resource management and services from Cornell University, Ithaca in New York. Ladies and gentlemen, with me here is the CEO Ace of Diamond Consulting, Madam Folakemi Oshinyemi, FCIPM. Welcome to the conversation.
Good evening, Michelle, Lagos Talks, and my HR colleagues. Yes. And Nigeria. Good evening. Happy to be here.
Always is. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
Now, we are still talking about managing a multi-generational workforce. And just like the last time, we're going to, of course, ask lots of questions about how to find the balance and be productive while also, treating each other with respect and some level of understanding. To join the phone lines, all you can do right now is tweet and send messages on WhatsApp, or you can wait towards the end of the program where we'll open up the phone lines. The phone lines are 0809-234-5913, 0809-1913913, 0809-222-0913. Now, speaking about the Gen Zs, who seem to be the generation giving HRs sleepless nights, there's a general notion that they want to work on their own terms. How does the HR manage this, especially when these terms are against the organization's policy? I think my guest is muted at the moment.
Yes. No, I'm here. Wanting to work on their own terms, mentioned part of the discussion last week, let me just bring that up to speed, is that the organization must have its own policies as regards how to manage and what we have to do in a workplace. Once an employee has been selected interviewed, selected, and offered a place, there should be an onboarding process. So within the onboarding, during that time, the Generation Z or Alpha, that is about 10 years old, like I mentioned last week, that are coming behind, they should be updated about what the organization stands for and how we do things, how things should be done, and the policies that are available. So the wanting to do things on their terms may vary. Okay. If you have someone, let's take a look at dressing to the place of work. We should have a policy that addresses, yes, we can dress down. Probably we have certain days, but we should also describe in clear terms what this dress down entails, or what our relaxed method of dressing entails, or what our official method of dressing entails. In some professions, you cannot, but I mean, you must be adorned the proper way. If you are going to a law court, you cannot wear what pleases you, no matter what generation you belong to. Also, when you're going to the hospital, they have uniforms that they wear, nurses and all of that. But in general terms, like you're working in an organization that is IT oriented, we can also state the fintech organizations, those ones that are behind, we can state what our dress code will be. Yes, you can wear sneakers, you can wear this, but it must be neat, it must be, we can specify the types in order that it will guide the generation. Although they are back office, they're not seeing anybody, but we have to determine, define, and communicate clearly with the organization and the employees what is acceptable to us. So in that regard, I feel that the generation, the Gen Zs, will be guided in regard to what they can wear or how they can turn out generally, that will be acceptable even to the publics that the organizations serve or to the organization itself, I think.
Okay, I agree with you. The policies are very much important. We can't just, communicate these things verbally. The policies need to be there. I do believe, like you said the last time, sometimes when you come into an organization, you can tell the culture. And it's very important that a new, an entry staff, just acclimatizes quickly to the culture of the organization, which could be the dress code, could be just the relationship, how to relate with other people in general. Now, in your opinion, does physical appearance matter when it comes to the delivery of one's job? We're talking about productivity now. For example, some Gen Zs will prefer to keep colored hair and wear sneakers on a suit. What's your take on this? Does this is in any way hinder productivity levels?
How they turn out, their hair and all of that, may not affect productivity, because what we hire them to do is to turn out a volume of job that is clearly guided by specifics. They have clarity about key result areas, KRAs, and their KPIs, key performance indicators, which are issued out to them. However, I also believe that where it depends on what the organization offers. If the organization is in a business that dress code is mandatory, then they have to align with that. Just as the example I gave earlier on, in the example I gave earlier on. However, where we are in the services business, okay, yeah, they may dress without a tie, but it has to be neat and they have to be properly turned out. So it's very important that HR gives clarity about what can be done. The hair, somebody, a man wearing a curly hair or styled in a particular way may not matter. However, it's the manner in which the person presents himself. You must be clean, properly turned out. Cleanliness, very, very important. And you can't wear maybe torn clothing and all of that to work. Some people ripped jeans. It depends on the organization you work with. If it's a dress down day or a weekend where you are not customer front facing, or you are working at the back room, HR can begin to be flexible in the policies we put in place in regard to this. But if there is no policy about that, then HR may well consider that, so that we don't lose out those who are also very good in that are sought after in this regard.
Right. What about the general saying that millennials are the most educated generation while the baby boomers are tagged as loyalists? What's your opinion on this? Is this a myth, or you see some sort of truth in it?
Well, I would say it's a myth, neither will I say it's true. The baby boomers and the Gen X's, the recruitment or the development is predicated or premised upon working very well, working hard, and studying. A lot of them also went to school and have masters, have doctorate. That's where we had all our professors. So saying that education in that regard, I think that probably we are looking at having ideas and being witty. Remember, all the inventions, NASA, going to the moon, were all in the generation of the baby boomers. A lot of discoveries had been previously, but knowledge will definitely increase. So the state or the speed of knowledge acquisition might have increased or might have been heightened because we make, almost everybody ensures that the children are educated at an earlier stage. They can speak, they can communicate clearly, and they know what they want to do. So in that regard, I agree that yes, they're exposed early to things so they can take decisions. However, baby boomers are loyalists. Loyalists in the workplace. But if you recall, last week we discussed that or mentioned that the generations of boomers and the Gen X's are those who will work in the place for a length of time, faithful servants, considerate, and all of that for the organization they work with. However, this generation, they are bright, they think fast, they have a lot of knowledge. However, I want us to understand that we have to balance knowledge with experience and with relationship. And that is the only way that we can have this good balance between the baby boomers and the millennials or the Gen Zs. Yes, as loyalists, we stay longer. As boomers or Gen Xs, as millennials and Gen Zs, we are looking for immediate reward. And so in this generation, we just want to say, okay, where is it happening? What more can I get? Because I just want to have it here and now. And so we keep searching. Gen Zs, millennials, we keep moving from one organization to the other. So what we refer to then as, the word has escaped from my mind now, commitment to being faithful to an organization or to an employer is no longer there. The employees of today are looking out for, where will my bread be buttered? So where will I have the kind of life I want? Where will I want things that matter to them? How well do you treat me? How well do you talk to me? What is the balance in my life? I want to have a life that I can go on a boat cruise, or I can work from wherever pleases me. So there must be a balance. But baby boomers can also apply their knowledge with wisdom, applying things in a way that they are considerate about other aspects of work. And I think that with both sides well looked up, discussed about, then the Gen Zs or the millennials with their education can also become loyalists. They may not be loyal to a particular organization working for so long, but they may be loyal to the line of or profession they have chosen to be in. While some of them, today someone is a lawyer or a medical doctor, and he tells you he wants to play the piano or play the guitar or be in the music industry. So they have this knowledge and they're able to manage multiple, do I say passion? Yeah. And also deliver on them, depending on what they put their hearts to do.
Right. Now how can the HR harness the benefits of the generational mix? They say variety is the spice of life, right? And I'm sure it's no different when it comes to organizations. Now with HR's handling and juggling the generational mix and making sure that the workforce is as productive or even more productive, how really can they harness it to the benefits of the organization in order to positively impact the organization?
I would suggest that some of the things that cause or that may result in misunderstanding, we have negative stereotypes from even from the advertisements that we put out. When we are putting out recruitment adverts, some biases may come up. So where we can encourage HR, or organizations can begin to use AI in our recruitment process or processes, wherein the keywords, the traits, the behaviors that are required for a role are stated clearly in the employee profile. And the profile, in profiling AI, we look out for those who match those profiles, not looking at their age or their experience or their names of where they come from. So that bias and stereotyping is there. And stereotyping also is not only about this generation. The millennials and the Gen Zs and the alphas are between 10 and 11 now. But when you're talking to them, they say, oh, mommy or daddy, you are so, like, oh, when we're talking about technology, they look at the older generation as too slow or not ready, not tech savvy, while they are. And the older generation look at them as people who live on their phones. And it's true, they live inside their phone. So HR must be ready, prepared to adapt and adopt technology in communicating with this generation. When we want to recruit, we can use AI, text messaging, and other video calling. We can call them over the phone for interviews. They don't have to physically be present for interviews. So we just have to adapt. And then email, we email them. Some of them are on Instagram. So we can use all the social media platforms to connect with them where we want to recruit or even at work. Then can HR also look at which of the social media platforms that we can adopt in a place of work where when we have a job to be done or there's an assignment, we can quickly message this generation because they will respond immediately using that. They don't have to physically be, I mean, I live in Agege, I work in Lekki, or I work in Ikorodu. When will I be there? But I can be working while I'm on my way or working all the way home, all the way from home when I receive that message about that assignment. So these negative stereotypes should leave. Then HR should embrace. We've been talking about diversity and inclusion. We should be true to practice what we preach. So we should be open. Somebody comes with his hair in knots, like Rastafari style, or that does not mean that he's wonky So we have to be open to that. And our expectations, because we have varied expectations from different generations, we have to make sure that we have what is called, I would say, what is our employee value proposition? What are we giving to this generation when they come to our organization? And the EVP is what will make them to stay, because top on the front burner for this generation is the quality of life. They want to live life well and in full. Baby boomers and Gen X's work to live. I mentioned that last week. We live to work and they work to live. So we have to maintain a balance. And in drawing up the EVP or asking them questions about what will make life easy for them, or in preparing what will make life easy for these generations in the place of work, HR should include them through surveys. We should carry out surveys, find out what would you want us to include, what will make you happy in a place of work. It's not just, I just sit in my office as HR and think for them. So we should include them. And those programs that we can include, we should add to it.
All right.
Yeah.
All has been said already. It's very interesting. It's an ever-evolving world. And
Yes.
that comes new challenges and new ways, new solutions to help handle things like this. Hence why we're having this conversation. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do appreciate you. We've been speaking with our guest, Madam Folakemi Oshinyemi, FCIPM. She's the CEO of Ace of Diamonds Consulting. She was here last week. She joined us last week on the show, and today we did a part 2 of this very interesting conversation, which is peculiar to the times that we're in, because many HRs are having issues with this regards. Not just HRs, but even parents are having a hard time adapting and following up with what this new generation is about. Even siblings, and it's for everybody to learn really how to cope and how to harness all our strengths to better relationship with ourselves and the world at large. So thank you so much for joining us today. Do you have any last words to share with us before you go?
Well, I'll just say that the world will continue to evolve, and we will only be relevant as much as we are able to adapt and adopt new learnings in the place of work, even at home. As you said, Michelle, it's very important that we are very sensitive and we begin to put these things in place in order that we can be the best place to work. Because when we are not sensitive to what the different generations we have in the workplace are requesting for, then nobody will want to work in our organization. So it's very important that we are nimble, we listen, we adopt, we adapt, and then we include this generation and stay true to all what we have been talking about, diversity and inclusion in the place of work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You've been listening to The Office on Lagos Talks 91.3. Coming up next is Critical Thinking with Zeal. Don't go anywhere. The conversation never stops. It's 4:56 on the clock.
It's better, it's bigger, it's the largest.
Hi, I'm fine.